Hey, it's Tom, Zero to Pass, Nubatama Third Eye, coming at you. Nubatama fans, have deck profile for you. Put up a match showcased on Nubatama versus Kagero. Some of you have probably already seen it. This is the deck I played. One of you all was asking for the deck profile. Here it is. It's basically a tuned version of my Springfest deck, and I'll explain to you what the changes were here. But let's just go over it real quick. So you're definitely going to want to use Protect 1 because you're running KFC, our one and only starter. I'm sticking to the 7 draw with the PG draws, 5 crit, and 4 heal. This is a very grindy deck. We only have Gale as a draw engine, so I've opted to keep this in here, and it's been very helpful to me overall. Since playing Nubatama, since it released initially, for my grade 1s, 4 Sakura Fubuki and 4 Dreadmaster, these really help filter, and you want to filter to combo pieces. I did have Togejuji in here, so that's one of the changes I made from Springfest. I had 2 of them in here. I took them out and put in another Sakura Fubuki and another Dreadmaster. I didn't find the card terribly helpful, although it can be, no doubt. It can have a lot of pressure. I've kept my 3 cart, so I'm at 11 grade 1s. For grade 2s, Tsunamasa, I've kept him in because we need Soul. Definitely need Soul. Gale at 4, big pressure card. Probably the most versatile card in the deck. And then instead of Dam Breach, I have 2 of our grade 2 12K beater. The hope is that you would ride this first, but if not, not all is lost. But again, extra pressure card, which is definitely going to be better than Dam Breach in terms of being able to have a grade 2 ride that makes your opponent either have to definitely check triggers or drop more cards from hand to boost to get up to that number early on. My grade 3s still have 4 KFC. Storm went up to 3 count. I had 2 at Springfest. It worked okay, but I was able to put in a 3rd one here. And I put in a Voidmaster. I took out Hagakure. Hagakure I had at a count of 2, took him out, put in Voidmaster, who I'd really missed having at Springfest. And then I put Storm up to 3. Potentially this could go up to 2, and this could stay at 2. We'll see in the long run here. And the card, last but not least, that's being showcased here is Jammu Congo. Jammu Congo is definitely your first ride target. Kujikura Congo came out for Jammu Congo. So Kujikura Congo is going to allow you to counterblast 1 to cause your opponent to have to pitch a card. Well, what we usually find early in the game is the opponent probably has 5 or more cards in hand. So as your first ride target, literally for no soul, no counterblast, for just putting this card on the field, for riding this card as your vanguard, you're going to force them to ditch cards. And so that was a fairly straightforward change up. The other thing is this card is continuously doing this during each player's turn, checking for 6. And if you happen to stash one in the soul or rewrite it as you would like to, you're now going to be doing that check to 4. The goal, the ultimate goal of the deck is the combo, using him to have your opponent to 4, using KFC to clear their field, and then limiting their hand size so that you can then use Storm to push through that and win. Again, this deck is very grindy. I have the 7 draw, I have 5 crit. The goal is to hope to crit at least once per game. You definitely have to be careful and watch your opponent's resources as well. You don't want to just hand off 4 damage to, say, a hero player, because the hero player is then going to start using spinner and start ruining your day in that way. So you want to definitely be careful with that. You just want to be poking at your opponent. As you saw in that video, this was very important defensively. Extremely important. I was playing against Kagero, restand, hitting me with Force 2. If I hadn't been playing this, instead been playing Kujikura Congo or some other tech card, it would have been game. It would have just been over right then and there, without a doubt. So that's the deck. That's some of the combos there. It really, I've got a number of ways to proc Storm to get those extra attacks in. Definitely, again, Protect 1 because you're going to want to be using him. And you want to hold off as long as you can on him because, as you saw in the video, in the same turn, I was able to use KFC and then use Storm. And that is ideal. Other new cards that we've gotten, or that we've seen, we have them in the Japanese, of course, as you see here. They will be coming out soon in English. Tamahagane. Tamahagane, this card's great. It's basically spot removal. It's going to work really well with Kujikura Kongo. I did think about putting him in here. He is one of the cards that I've considered. The other card I've considered is Tengu, who I don't have in my hand right now. Tengu is a promo that allows you to make your opponent have a decision of, discarding a card or allowing you to draw. The problem with it is it's Soul Blast, KFC. The problem with Tamahagane is this is Soul Blast, right? Yeah, this is Soul Blast. So you got problems with that. As I've told you guys before, the reason Breath is not in here, who I love dearly, especially with Tsunemasa, is because you're fighting against KFC. And not only are you fighting against KFC, but you have to watch your soul with regards to what grade 3s you have in soul, how many you have, because these two guys also are checking for your soul. Okay? If you were to run Kujikura Kongo, Dreadmaster's going to be eating your soul as well. But again, the reason he's in here is to filter, and it's actually very, very relevant. And so I've kept him up 3 to 4, absolutely. Another card I was mentioning, I really like this card initially. It might be a one-of. I probably wouldn't take out Voidmaster because this actually helped win me the game. But, maybe a Storm. I don't know. I'm having a hard time seeing a place for him right now. So, a card that I really, really like, along with Tengu, is this guy here. Again, helping your opponent make poor decisions. But again, it's a Soul Blast. If only Tengu and this guy were Counterblast, but they're not. They're Soul. A more realistic option for you to consider is or So, however you say him. Say his name. This could potentially go into this slot, and this would be great along with Janyo Kongo. Now, in theory, that wouldn't be your finishing turn. Your finishing turn, you typically want to be on Storm, so there's really no synergy here. But it may allow for the option of being on this guy for your finishing turn. So that's something to think about. And this is a real consideration here to consider in terms of the new cards we got. Another guy you can consider, maybe go down on KFC by 1. Go down to 3 copies. You could consider running this. You're gaining 2 force. You're not losing or gaining gift because these don't give you gift. So this definitely could be an option, but I would most likely only replace one of the KFC for this guy. So again, pressuring, definitely pressuring the way your opponent has to guard things. So those are 2 options to consider. Like Tendo Kongo, I have a hard time justifying where this would go in the deck. These are really solid cards. You could potentially consider this guy, but honestly, I would consider him first. As you'll see in that match that we showcased, I don't think Sakurabuki procced that game, but I have a lot of games that I've played where on my grade 2 ride, I may ride him and then put him in a column. I've got 1 counterblast. I play this. My counterblast, flips over, and then I use this to flip it back up. That's something that this deck has done a lot for me in the past, running this suite. So I'm not sure I would replace this guy, but you could consider him. Okay, so all your damage has to be face down to use him. So likewise, with that same play I said, you could use this. However, the benefit here is he gets +3. And not only that, this allows you to filter like Dreadmaster to get your combo pieces. So probably not. Yeah. And then last but not least, the one card I really, really like from when we were watching previews, and then we finally got our stuff out and I was looking through everything. And then we noticed this guy's got a critical 2. I really like this card. The problem is I don't see where he fits. Could potentially put in 1 copy for maybe a Sakura Fubuki and a Dreadmaster. That actually is a potential option. You could put in a pair where I had my Togajuji one for one of these and one for one of these. Could consider that for early pressure. I'm not sold on it. I think these two guys are better options to consider for potential pushing, because these are going to be more late game pieces that hopefully you filter into. But this guy, it's hard to say when you'd want him. You know, as your first ride, it's kind of funny. You swing with it, your opponent doesn't guard, you get a critical, that's 3 damage. That's pretty hot. So it'd be kind of like, you know, it'd be the same mentality of only running 2 of these. It's not quite a filler slot, but if you get it first as your first G2 ride, and well, hopefully your only G2 ride, it's great. And it'd be the same thing for him. If you get it, it's great. Later on, I don't have anything like Hakura, or Hakura. I don't have anything like Hagakure to create a really large boost behind this. So that's going to be a little difficult. If it's one of the cards that you use for him, he gets +5, and then whatever goes behind him, +5. So say it was an 8 +5, 13, 21. Yeah, but you're trying to get over 23 if you can. So it's hard to say, but would this be a win more card? Like Hagakure potentially is a win more card, potentially. Whereas these two guys, at least in theory, could really put on more pressure, and for late game. So pieces like that you want to add into your deck, 1 or 2 of. This is an exception to the rule. Pieces like this, you definitely want it to be cards, like Voidmaster, for example. In that match you saw, it was later game. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, let me know. Had a lot of fun playing this. Not going to be able to play this at my fall Bushiroad event because in English, I believe it comes out the week after. And so I will be playing something else. Yeah, I'll be most likely playing one of my other decks. Right now I'm looking at Link Joker, I'm looking at Bermuda. So those are the 2 decks I'm looking at right now. I wish it was this. I wish I could play this, but again, it won't be out yet. So anyhow, I hope you're all having a great weekend. Got a lot of Card Fight Vanguard in, and talk to you guys soon. Peace.